Welcome, everyone. Michael Lazaroff from Jazz Cruises. Welcome to the Chris Botti at Sea 2, the 25 sailing of a Chris Botti at Sea. We're going to walk through a whole bunch of information, the purpose of which our goal is to have everybody have all the information that they need long before the cruise so that they don't have to spend time when they're on the ship, wandering around the ship looking for things. We're going to start with some housekeeping by Aubrey Pavlik. She's our director of guest communications. Aubrey, how are you today?
Doing great. Thank you, Michael. Excited to be here and welcome to our Botti at Sea webinar. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started here. First of all, we are going to put everyone on mute to avoid any ambient or background noise. We would be happy to answer your questions. We will take those towards the end of the webinar. If you do have a question, please submit them by clicking the red arrow that appears in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, and then you can submit your question via the chat feature. So that is how we will take those since we are going to have everyone on mute. And then finally, we will also have additional webinars a little bit closer to the sailing, so keep your eyes out for those. We are recording this session, and we will post it to the Booked Guest page of the Botti at Sea website in the next couple of days. So if you'd like to refer to this in the future, you can find it on that Booked Guest page of the Botti at Sea website. That is all I have for now. I will pass it back over to you, Michael, to get started.
Okay. First, we're going to talk about is the cruise details, which really means that Aubrey is going to be talking very, very soon. But we're on Celebrity Summit. We're sailing from Tuesday, February 4th through Tuesday, February 11th. People ask why on a Tuesday. We don't pick it. Our cruises, we have 4 in a row. Botti at Sea is the second of our four jazz cruises during this period of time. And basically, they take Summit out of rotation and they reposition it. And so it becomes an issue of where we can dock. And that's why we are going Tuesday to Tuesday. The artists really like it because they only lose one weekend. They can actually work before, they can work after, and then they're working during. And they really like that. We are going out of Port Everglades, Fort Lauderdale, which, by the way, is the most used charter and a passenger cruise ship port in the world. Kind of interesting. We'll be calling on Cozumel and a Grand Cayman. And in a week afterwards, we will be coming back to Fort Lauderdale. We'll be using a really cool terminal there, a brand new terminal that they use for the Edge. Most of our staff went to visit it. Aubrey was there as well. They didn't invite me, so I haven't seen it yet, but I'll be looking at it soon. Okay, Aubrey, go ahead.
All right. So online check-in with Celebrity Cruises. Each guest is required to do check-in before the cruise. You must complete it. And online check-in is really the best and easiest way to do this. So the way that you can get started on this is to go to this link here, which is celebritycruises.com/account. And if you already have an account, then you can go ahead and sign in, and it should automatically show up as an upcoming cruise. You'll see Botti at Sea. If you do not have an account, then you can just easily create a Celebrity Cruises account once you go to that link right there. So this is available to you starting December 21st, which is 45 days prior to the cruise. And again, once you get into your account, you're just going to go ahead and click Start Check-in in your Celebrity account. And this can be completed anytime up until 3 days prior to our embarkation day. So it closes on February 1st of 2025. The whole process is really pretty simple. It will lead you through it step by step, and it should take you less than 15 minutes to complete per person. At the time that you're going to go through and complete your online check-in, you're going to want to have your passport, a credit card, your Celebrity Cruises reservation number, and a Celebrity Cruises reservation number handy so that you can complete this very easily. You will also be asked to pick a window of time that you'll be arriving to the terminal during this process. So these are available in half-an-hour windows between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. And you should really just take your travel time into consideration when you're selecting your terminal arrival time. For instance, if your flight arrives into Miami at 10:30, you are not going to want to select that 11 a.m. window because it's going to take you a while to get from Miami to Fort Lauderdale to get your luggage in hand. So you should really just try to accommodate what time you're actually going to be arriving to the terminal. Because if you do arrive outside of your selected window, there may be a slightly longer waiting time for you to board. After you complete your online check-in, your Express Pass will be available for you to download and print. And this is a really important piece for you as it serves as your boarding pass on embarkation day. So it's what they scan when you get to the terminal, and they will let you on board once they scan that. And then our celebrity luggage tags are available to print between January 5th and February 1st of 2025. So again, this can be accomplished right within your celebrity account. And it's starting at 30 days prior. You can go ahead and go in there and print those out. We highly suggest that you print them and then affix those to each piece of your luggage once you arrive into the Fort Lauderdale area, and prior to giving your luggage over to the porters at the terminal. It's really important, as this will tell Celebrity Cruises staff where to deliver your luggage once you're on board. What's nice about the celebrity luggage tags that you get to print out right in your celebrity account is that it's very clearly legible and accurate. If you don't end up printing these and putting these on, you will need to have one of the porters assist you on that embarkation day. But sometimes, people's handwriting is less legible than a nice printed out version. So this is really the most accurate way in order to make sure that your luggage is getting correctly to your stateroom. Celebrity Cruises pre-cruise planner. So as this says here, these are really going to be the best prices available prior to the cruise for a variety of different items that you can enjoy on board, including specialty dining, spa treatments, excursions, beverage packages, internet packages. So this is a really helpful tool. Again, you need to go into your celebrity account and click the Plan My Cruise button. And then you can go ahead and make any of those reservations or book those packages that you would like, all from the comfort of your own home. Again, these really are going to be the best prices prior to getting on board the cruise. Prices do go up once you get on board. So we highly suggest doing this prior to getting on board, as it's more comfortable. You're going to get a better price, and you don't have to walk all over the ship in order to accomplish what you need to purchase. We at Jazz Cruises have worked with Celebrity this year to get special pricing on beverage and internet packages, and these are reflected within that pre-cruise planner platform. So the classic and premium alcohol packages are discounted by 20%. And then there is also a 10% discount on non-alcohol packages. For Wi-Fi, we also have a 20% discount on the premium Wi-Fi, and that's for 1 or 2 devices. And then there's also some night one specials on some of the specialty restaurants if you would like to dine somewhere special on embarkation day. Again, we really just encourage you to make these purchases prior to getting on board if there's anything that you know that you're going to want to do. Otherwise, you do need to visit various areas on board the ship, and this is just a very easy way to book what you would like to get. This tool, the Celebrity Pre-Cruise Planner, is currently available to all booked guests, and you can make purchases or modifications, or you can even cancel one of your purchases if you wish to until 3 days prior to the cruise. So you just need to sign into your Celebrity Cruises account and make whatever modifications that you would like to make. And finally, for our boarding requirements, as I think everybody knows, you will need a passport. Highly recommend having that valid through August 11th of 2025, which is 6 months prior to our disembarkation. And medications are valuable, so you're going to want to keep those on your person as well when you're boarding. If you come from a country where a visa is necessary, then you need to have that. Your express pass, which we just talked about, we really highly suggest that all of our guests print a copy of this just in case your phone dies or it's buried at the bottom of your bag. It's a lot easier to have that printed express pass with you that the terminal staff can just scan right away and have easily accessible. And then finally, our wine and spirits allowance. So each guest is allowed one standard bottle of wine on embarkation day. So that's 750 milliliters, I believe, is the standard bottle size. And if you consume that in your room, there is no corkage fee. But if you do choose to consume that in a public area, a restaurant, a bar, a lounge, there is a small corkage fee of $35 that is applied.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about the boarding process. We're going to be at Cruise Terminal 25, like I mentioned. Aubrey's going to talk to you now about your terminal arrival time and about boarding the ship.
So yes, we're going to be at Terminal 25, and for those of you who are driving, just follow the all of the signage right at the terminal. There is a parking garage that is pretty much right across from there. If you are arriving via taxi or Uber, you can let your driver know that you are going to the Celebrity Summit, and they will generally know where that is. You can also let them know it's Terminal 25, and they can follow that signage as well. There are a few steps that you should take to ensure the best boarding process when you arrive to the terminal. So again, as we've talked about, during your online check-in, you need to select a terminal arrival time frame. So we really just ask that everybody follows that terminal arrival. The embarkation process has really significantly improved over the past couple of years by implementing these boarding windows. The guest flow in the terminal is much better, and it just really helps make sure that there's no really long lines for people to try and get into the terminal really early or really late. So the terminal opens at 11 a.m., and you have to be in the terminal by 3 p.m. And any of our guests who are utilizing the Jazz Cruises pre-cruise hotel transportation to the pier, they can go ahead and select the last time slot available. That does not actually mean that you're going to arrive in that last time slot. We worked with Celebrity Cruises to override that selection and to accommodate and let our guests in who are utilizing that transportation right when they do arrive to the terminal. However, you're going to have to select a time frame in order to kind of go through that entire online check-in process. So we ask that you just select one of the later time slots. And again, when you arrive to the terminal, you are going to want a few must-have items very easily accessible. So that would be your passport, your express pass, any medications that you might have, and then personal items that you might need right upon boarding. Talked about this briefly, but when you do get to the terminal, you're going to want to transfer your luggage to the porters who are going to be right outside of the terminal. So first and foremost, again, just make sure that your celebrity luggage tags are attached to every piece of your luggage that you're handing over, and that your stateroom number is appropriately on there. Those luggage tags that you're going to print out are not so sturdy. So we do suggest not putting those onto your luggage until you arrive into the Fort Lauderdale area. We also, you will see there is the next bullet point. There's a clear luggage tag option that Amazon has and probably a number of other places. It's not very expensive, and it's just a nice little durable clear luggage tag holder that fits the celebrity luggage tags very easily into them. So we really highly suggest getting those if you're able to, because it will just make sure that your luggage stays attached for the entire day and that it does not get ripped off sometime during that process. If you do happen to forget your luggage tags or you did not print any luggage tags prior to arriving to the terminal, you can ask the porter and they will have extra blank luggage tags with them. The most important thing to give them is the accurate stateroom number. Again, this is what really dictates where that luggage is going. You don't want to accidentally write the wrong stateroom number and then be searching for your luggage on embarkation day. It's not a great way to start, and you just want to make sure that they're accurately putting it on there. So that's why we suggest printing out the celebrity ones and making sure that those are attached. But if you do forget it, they have extras there on embarkation day. And finally, with those porters, we do highly suggest that you tip them for their help. Obviously, these are the people who are getting your luggage to your stateroom, and a little bit of gratitude to them is always appreciated and will help ensure that your luggage gets there quickly and safely.
We usually recommend a $10 a bag, and that's only if you really want to have your luggage for the trip and not have it sent to the ship three piers down. Seriously, it's a very interesting process down there, and I don't know whether it's wishing or whatever, but $10 a bag is usually the right way to go.
Absolutely. After you do hand over your luggage and tip the porters, you're going to go ahead and enter the terminal and complete your registration. So if you already completed your online check-in, it's going to be very, very quick for you. They're going to ask you a couple of questions and perhaps take your photo if you did not upload a photo during that online check-in process. If you didn't complete your check-in process, there is a little bit more of a process to that. You're going to have a few more questions, definitely going to need to put a credit card down at that time. Again, just one of the reasons why we do suggest doing the process at home prior to arriving. And then once all of that is completed, you're going to go ahead and board the ship when you're called. So again, with those celebrity arrival windows, most of our guests we've noticed over the past couple of years are rarely waiting for a prolonged period of time in the terminal. If there is a short wait, there's plenty of seating. As Michael mentioned, it's a beautiful, brand new terminal. It's quite spacious and it's very comfortable. But you really should not be sitting in there for very long, if at all. A lot of times, if you're arriving in one of those middle terminal arrival times, you're going to go ahead and walk right on board. Boarding the ship. So the good news is staterooms are available right upon boarding. So you can go ahead and go to your stateroom right when you get on board the ship. Your cruise identification card or your room key that's also used for your charge card is going to be right at the mail slot that's right outside of your stateroom. So we really suggest going and picking that up right away, putting any of your hand luggage in your room, and then you can go ahead and take a look around the ship and do your muster drill if you'd like. Your luggage will be at your stateroom on or before 6 p.m. So typically they've been doing a really good job of getting most of the luggage prior to we're actually leaving port. So prior to 4 p.m., really most of the luggage is typically delivered. But if you do arrive to the terminal a little bit later, we say that it will be there by 6 p.m. There's going to be a number of helpful handouts that you're going to receive right when you're boarding as well. So we have a welcome letter that has a lot of this type of information, things that you can do right upon boarding. Any sort of questions that you might have are generally addressed in that. Talks a little bit about the theater, the seating procedures, what is open for dining, where to purchase beverages, any of those packages that you might have missed purchasing prior to the cruise. We also have a beautiful souvenir program that is just that. It's a souvenir. It's a really nice booklet. It includes all of the lineup, information about them, bios, photos, a little bit about the itinerary. It's a really nice souvenir for you to have, show your friends or family when you get back from the cruise. You will also receive a lanyard right when you're getting on board. So this is super helpful to keep your cruise identification card in. You can wear it right around your neck if you so choose. You don't have to, but it's a really convenient way to make sure that you're not losing your key card. And then lastly, we do have a cruise app this year again. So those of you who cruised with us last year will know that that was the first year that we had an app for our cruises, and it was very successful. I think most of our guests really enjoyed it. It was convenient, and most people are walking around with their phones anyway. So that includes all of the daily schedules for each of the days on board. You can look at what is coming up, where it's going to be, and then you can look at the full week of. I think that is it for this slide.
Very good. You want to talk about lunch and amenity reservations and what happens once you're on board? And then
Absolutely.
I will start talking about the entertainment right after that.
Great. So once you board the ship, we highly suggest grabbing a bite to eat. People who have traveled in or traveled from somewhere in the area are generally hungry by the time they get on board. There are a few different lunch options for you, depending on what type of stateroom you are in. So the Ocean View Cafe, which is the main buffet on deck 10, is open for lunch beginning at 11:30 a.m., has a nice big spread. You can take that food and go sit out by the pool if you wish, or on the sunset bar side of things, or just right inside the Ocean View Cafe. But very nice spread for you there. Suites have a private lunch in Lumine, which is on deck 4, and that's from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. And then Aqua and Concierge class staterooms also have an 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Private lunch in the main dining room on deck 5 that they're invited to enjoy. Again, as we've talked through, we really highly recommend that you make those pre-cruise purchases in the pre-cruise planner. However, if you weren't able to or forgot or didn't think that you were going to use something and you realize that you would like to purchase something a little extra, the time between boarding and the sail away party is a really great time to do that. So you can see here there's a variety of different areas. Spas on deck 10, so you're going to have to go to the spa in order to make those reservations or talk to them via the phone. Specialty dining also has stations set up in the Grand Foyer on deck 3. And then they also have a booth right up by the Ocean View Cafe on deck 10, or you can call them via phone. Beverage packages are available to be purchased at any bar or with any server. Internet packages can be purchased right online, so you just connect to the Wi-Fi and then follow those instructions. And then finally, shore excursions are available on deck 3 at the shore excursions desk. Again, just not really the most convenient, as there's no real one-stop shop area. Part of the reason why we suggest, going in and looking at what the options are and anything that is of interest to you purchasing prior to the cruise, but they are still available on board once you get on. There's a mandatory safety procedure for everybody on embarkation day as well. So you're going to need to watch the safety demonstration video. You can do that on the Celebrity Cruises app, or you can do that in your stateroom TV. So once you do that, you can proceed to your muster station. So that is listed on your cruise identification card that's at your stateroom right upon embarkation. It's also on the back of your stateroom door in case you want a little bit more information. They have that there as well. You can also ask any of the celebrity crew member who are around the ship, ask them where the A2 or the B3 muster station is, and they would be happy to assist and point you in the right direction. And then finally, once you do get to that muster station, one of the Celebrity Cruises team members will verify that you are there, record that you've completed the safety video, and then check you in at your station. And this is also a great time to just explore the ship. So if it's your first time on the Celebrity Summit, you can familiarize yourself with the ship. There's a variety of entertainment venues that Michael will go through a little bit more in depth. And then there's also a variety of dining venues, both of those being very important aspects of the cruise. So we highly suggest that you walk around if you have not been on board the Summit yet and familiarizing yourself with those areas. Back to you, Michael.
Very good. Thank you so much, Aubrey. I'm going to talk about the entertainment talent, which is the reason why most of you are joining us. The Chris Botti cruise last year was absolutely one of the most exciting and fun cruises that we've ever done. And in part it is because the entertainment was a little more varied, a little kind of eclectic. Clearly there was a strong jazz element to it, but we kind of broadened our a taste for this particular cruise, and obviously the host is Chris Botti, and he has his own unbelievably talented band, and they perform together and they perform in a smaller groups. One of the very, very few issues that folks had last year was that there wasn't enough Chris Botti. So we are fixing that for sure. David Foster and Catherine McPhee, who were absolutely the runaway favorites last year on the cruise, they are back. And then the rest of the lineup is really brand new for this cruise. Kamasi Washington, for those who are not familiar, is one of the most exciting saxophone players, unique, big band, very, very dynamic guy. Esperanza Spalding was the first woman in a long time to be the Newcomer of the Year Grammy Award. She's terrific, sings, performs terrific. A Peterson Cotty, piano player, singer. He's going to be wonderful. Chris himself picked Antonio Sanchez and a Bad Hombre, and I've been looking at them lately, and they're really special. That's an exciting show. And then we have a list of kind of our jazz guys. Benny Benac III, who was in St. Louis today, told me to meet him for breakfast at coffee at 7:30. Gave me the wrong address. He wasn't there. I was there, but he's still going to be on the cruise. I'm going to punish him in some other way. Emmett Cohen, Gerald Clayton, amazing piano player, Mindy Hebert, Morgan James, who's a vocalist who's never been on our cruises before, and I'm excited about that. And Thana Alexa, she is the Bad Hombre vocalist. The next two names you see are John Clayton and Jeff Hamilton. For those who have sailed with us before, you're going to recognize those names from the jazz cruise. They are the leaders of the Clayton Hamilton Jazz Orchestra, and they've been on the jazz cruise forever. They're here on this cruise as a special invitation of our very special guest, Diana Krall, who will be coming and performing when we were in Grand Cayman. Diana Krall is someone who has been on our list for a long, long time, finally worked it out, and she actually began her career playing with John and Jeff. And so this is a bit of a reunion. It's also one of the reasons why this all came to be. Special guest, Kool and the Gang, one of the recent inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they're there for fun, and we're gonna have a great time with them. Alonzo Bowden, if you've ever been on any of our cruises, you are familiar with Alonzo. He is our comic in residence, and Eric Marienthal, two-time Grammy Award winner, is our music director, puts all the shows together. On this cruise, we've got two bands. One is our super band, and for those who are familiar with these names, it's an amazing group. Sullivan Fortner, Wycliffe Gordon, Eric, Ben Williams, Terrell Stafford, and your Herlin Riley. That is a lot of talent on a one cruise. And then we have our party band, and these are our four favorite band members from the Smooth Jazz cruise: Randy Jacobs, Nate Phillips, Arlington Jones, Jay Williams. Our cruise director, Mario Vines. For those who sailed last year, you got to meet Mario, and he is terrific. Obviously, people like the talent, because I'm proud to announce and pleased to announce that we have like 5 or 6 inside cabins left, and that's it. It'll be sold are completely fully reserved by the end of the week, and that'll be 2 years in a row that the Botti at Sea cruise has been fully reserved, which is a real tribute to Chris Botti and all of the lineup. It's a great cruise, really is. The entertainment format, we call the Botti at Sea cruise, every night is a night on the town, because every night is a main show that would be sufficient if you were going out that night. Big time headliners, and you're going to see one of these shows every single night. We divide the audience into 2 groups, one blue, one red. A blue group goes to the first show, and then they usually dine afterwards. And of the red guests, they dine first, and then they go to the second show. After that, in the evening and in the afternoons, we have festival style, where we have shows all over the ship: music, dancing, comedy, fun, events. The Rendezvous Lounge we turn into almost like a nightclub, and we have late night jams and very, very special shows. Chris Botti's going to lead the late night jam twice. Kamasi will do one as well. We have over 200 hours of music. The venues are the main theater, which is the theater, and that seats half of the guests. The Sky Lounge, which is on top of the ship, that's the second venue in terms of size, probably seats 500. The Rendezvous Lounge, which is on deck 4, is a real theater. It almost feels like a jazz club. It goes from one side of the ship to the other. It has great seating. It has a stage. It isn't just a contrived venue. We do things by the pool, mainly in the afternoon. We are going to have one really cool late night show by the pool. Mindy Aber will be leading that. The Cosmopolitan Restaurant, which is the main dining room, when we first walked into it in the year 2016, which is when we moved from Holland America Line to Celebrity, this was the biggest find that we found. Was we could turn that restaurant into an amazing cabaret style venue. And we use it in the afternoons. We use it in the evening. Table settings. We have special food and special drinks, and we have great shows there. And you feel like you're going to a nightclub back in the day. It's really cool. On our program, you will see that we divide all of our events into three categories: in concert, learn, and enjoy. In concert means that it is a music event. Learn means that it's an interview or a seminar or a master class. And the reason why we do that designation is we want to make sure that if you're going to something and you see that it is hosted by one of our musicians, you want to know whether they're actually playing music or it is some other form of entertainment. So that's important to us. Enjoy is just the fun stuff, things that have absolutely nothing to do with our musical presentations or Chris Botti, just things that are fun. We have a whole slew of non-music events. We're going to have autograph and a recording signings, CD listening parties, artist hosted events, wine tasting, food pairings, lots of interviews, theme nights. The first night is a welcome to Botti at C25. There really isn't any attire element to that. The next night is black and white night, where we ask all of our guests to either wear black, white, or black and white. Celebration, you can guess what that is. That is when Kool and the Gang will be on the ship, and that's going to be a ton of fun. Ladies' Day and a night, that is Grand Cayman, and that is Diana Krall. Then we have our formal night. It's really not formal as much as it is dress up night. We don't, no gowns, no tuxedos. In fact, very few guys wear ties. But we have jackets and the women dress like they're going out for the evening, and it's kind of fun to do. And then we have Super Bowl. Super Bowl is on that Sunday, and that last year we had it on this cruise as well, and it was a lot of fun. There are lots of different places to watch it on the ship, and we have tailgate parties. And even though we show the game, we've got tons of music that day. We have the same amount of music that day that we have on any other day. And then the last night is our thank you night. We have game shows. I know Kamasi is really, really excited about Band Feud. He played last time he was on the cruise. He will probably play against the Botti band. That's always fun. The comedy of Alonzo Bowden. Alonzo's probably done 50 or more of our cruises, and he really loves the artist, makes fun of them, and he's terrifically fun. There is a pickleball court on top, and we will have pickleball games. We're going to have some Lady Days events, morning coffee talks. We will set up probably in the Rendezvous Lounge where various artists will be talking about various subjects. Just join them for coffee, and then you can ask any and all questions. Non-music questions, attire. It's really pretty simple. Be comfortable. We call it casual. It should be self-evident. Most importantly, please wear a comfortable shoes. Even if all that you do is go from your cabin to the shows, to the meal, to the shows and back, you're going to wind up walking way more than you do normally. And comfortable shoes are really important. The nightly main show seating, as I talked earlier, every night we have a main show, and it is performed twice. One for one's for the blue guests and one's for the red guests. To find out whether you are blue or red, look at your registration information, your reservation information, and this was a selection that you made when you completed your reservation. And again, this relates to the show time. So blue is the people that go to the first show. Red are the people that go to the second show. Dining usually then reflects that, but the actual designation blue red relates to the shows. When you come on to the ship and you go to your stateroom, in the little mail slot will be your key identification card, your cruise identification card, and it will either have a blue background or a red background. You really need to show those cards when you come into to the shows. There's ample seating in the main theater for everybody, provided that people adhere to the blue and the red. And that's the main reason why we divide it up that way. Is we do it 50-50. Half of the guests are blue and half of the guests are red. Uh, changing that designation is very, very difficult to do for that reason. But if in fact there is someone who's blue who wants to be red, and someone who is red and wants to be blue, we can make that happen. Okay, but it's not something to rely upon. Queuing up for the nightly main shows, yes, do get in line. Um, we have doors way before we used to, so that people don't have to stand in line. They can sit inside the theater. We have a safe program, seating assistance for entry. You will find paperwork for that, and if you need special assistance getting into the main theater, you need to fill out those forms, send it to us, and we will make arrangements. A reserve seating. There are various categories that resulted in guests being awarded reserve seating. Reserve seating for the main shows is a seat that is yours until the show starts. Once the show starts, if you're not in that reserve seat, then that reserve seat can be occupied by anyone. So it is not your seat for the evening. It is your right to be in that seat prior to the show starts. Saving seats, once you get into the theater, you can save one seat and only one seat. What does this mean? What it means is that a couple, they don't both have to stand in line to get into the show. One of them can stand in line and then go in and then hold a seat for their companion. Again, that only works until the show begins, and then if it's a open seat, anybody can take that particular seat. We are really trying to enforce these rules just out of fairness, not for no other reason. Most people abide by the rules. We don't have any problem. Once in a while, somebody tries to reserve a whole bunch of seats, and that's just not fair. Show seating on all other shows other than the nightly main show seating, it's first come, first serve. In the afternoon shows, the late shows, whatever. We have a couple of concepts that we like to talk about. Grazing. Once you are in the show, you are not obligated to stay for the rest of the show. You can sample. You can go to one show and say, this isn't what I want, or you can say to yourself, I'm going to watch 30 minutes of this show, then I'm going to watch 30 minutes of the other show, and that's called grazing. We have not only do we not have a problem with that, we encourage it. Um, all of the main show, everybody will be able to see all of the main shows. Some of the special shows are only performed once, so you may want to figure out how to see those particular shows. And again, here you can save a seat, but only one and only until the set begins. The other way that folks sometimes handle the shows, they say to themselves, "Okay, there are 3 shows in a row up in the Sky Lounge. I'm just going to camp there. I'm just going to be there for the entire afternoon." I mean, I've seen sleeping bags, I've seen pillows, I've seen just about everything. That is called camping, and we do not let camping. Uh, we're going to clear the theater. There are ways to get back into the theater, but that isn't going to work for everybody because that's just not fair to everybody. Photographs and recordings. You cannot record any of the music, but we do allow non-flash photography as long as you're not getting in the way of somebody's sight line. Holding up a phone above your head to take a picture of a show is likely to impair the view and the vision of other people, so that doesn't work. Um, but you can take photographs, and there isn't any problem with that. We have professional photographers on the ship that take hundreds and hundreds of pictures, and then we put them on the website after the cruise, and you are free to download them for free. And the quality of those pictures are very, very good. I've also never understood why a guest would spend all this money, go on the ship, and watch a show through their phone. That just doesn't seem to be a good idea to me, but everybody gets to pick. Talking to the musicians, highly encouraged. They love talking to you. It's just a question of when. We ask that you do not try to talk to the musicians right before they are setting up for their show or after their show because we're on a tight time frame and we need to get the room ready for the next show and for the next group of guests. Now, some of this is done by the musicians themselves. We will encourage them to move away from the bandstands. Merchandise, we have all of our artists are encouraged to bring merch, whether it's CDs or other items. We have autograph sessions. The ship has a wonderful spa. There's all kinds of shops. There's a full a beauty salon. Lots of things to do. If you have any questions about things in particular, send us an email. But on the ship, you can have your teeth whitened. You can have acupuncture. You can do all kinds of things. It's really, really kind of amazing what they have on the ship. Okay. So next, dining. There is food on the ship. You do not have to bring your own food. Included dining means dining that there is no upcharge for. The Ocean View Cafe, which is the I'm gonna say cafeteria. It is not a cafeteria, but it is the room with all the stations. And they serve breakfast, lunch, dinner, afternoon, late night, pizza, and things like that. They really upgraded this over time. They have a whole a vegetarian section. They've got salads. They've got international cuisine, and we work hard to make sure that it is presented well. Aubrey's husband, Brad, is in charge of our F&B, and we really try to work on this very, very hard because a lot of people do eat most of their meals in in the Ocean View Cafe. The Cosmopolitan Restaurant, the main dining room, serves a breakfast and dinner every night, and they serve lunch on days at sea. Um, you can make a reservation for dinner with your dinner group for the week, and I believe that you have received information as to how to do that. Um, we work to confirm that the dining group that you submitted, that everyone there is on that group and believes they're on that group. Oftentimes we have people that are on three groups, and they really are not eating three times. They have just been grabbed by three different groups of people. So we try to create that. Spa Cafe is open for breakfast, and for lunch it is health foods. It is in the a solarium section, and that's where my wife eats all of her meals. And I like it for one reason. Whatever you order there, whatever you take, it all tastes the same. So you don't have to worry about selection. You can just take something, and they all have the same non-taste. I'm only kidding. It is actually very, very, very good. And the opposite of the Spa Cafe is the a pool grill. That's where there's nasty hot dogs, cheeseburgers, fries, chili, all of the basic food groups of life are there, and that's open pretty late, and that's really kind of fun. Specialty dining. These are upcharge restaurants. Tuscan Grill is their Italian steakhouse. It is famous. It has been on celebrity cruise ships forever. It's won all kinds of awards, um, and it's always crowded. Lumine is sort of a higher end, limited menu, although the menu changes every single night. Really elegant kind of eating. That's where the suites have breakfast, um, lunch. Anybody can go for an upcharge. The best hamburger on the ship by a mile is in Lumine for lunch. Okay. Sushi on 5, believe it or not, is sushi, and it's on deck 5. I know that nobody figured that out. Okay. So this is a clue. Sushi on 5. It's really good. The artists love it. You can do carryouts there. Um, that is not a set fee. You pay by the piece. And I know people who eat every single dinner there every night. It really is good. We then take over two of the dining venues, and we have created our own restaurants. We have the Big Easy, which is in Cuisine. That's where the little chef was, Le Petit Chef, who is there for a couple of nights. But the other nights, we have the Big Easy, which is our New Orleans style restaurant, and then Blue, which under our normal circumstances is sort of a health health food. We have decided to turn it into a Jazz Cruises Chops House, the antithesis of a health food restaurant. Steaks and chops and fish, and just really good. Very, very well done. It was the most popular restaurant on all of our cruises last year. Um, Awful lot of fun. Room service. There's a cost to it these days, but a lot of people believe that if you're on a cruise ship, you should have breakfast in bed. That's just part of the drill, um, and you are free to do it. Down at the bottom here, it says Michael's take on a room service. For those who've been on these calls before, I'm going to do it again. I know where your room is, and I know where the kitchen is. And I will tell you that the odds of your meal coming out of that kitchen and going on one of those carts and making it to your room hot and the way that you want it is zero. It just isn't going to happen. But that shouldn't stop you if that's something that you really like. I can tell you it's much faster, particularly for breakfast, to go up to the Ocean View Cafe, get your breakfast, bring it back to your room, and eat it in the room. Okay, and you just have to decide which of you are going to be doing that. I know that that's one of the husband rituals of being on the cruise. I know that that's what I do. I go to the coffee place, Cafe El Baccio. I get her coffee and one of those muffins, and then I go up and I get her breakfast, and then I bring it down, and invariably I have brought the wrong thing, so I have to go back to one of those two places and I have to correct it. But it's fun, and I'm being lied about this, but I'm not a big room service fan. Now, if you're sick and that's the only way to get your food, that I get. I didn't like room service when it was free. Now that they're charging for it, that really makes it unacceptable. Okay, takeaways. One other thing that I was going to talk about. I've got two pet peeves on the ship. One is room service, and the other is dry cleaning. Dry cleaning on the ship is expensive, slow, and not very good. So unless you have really made a mess of something, I would wait until I got home to do my dry cleaning. Okay. The actual washing of stuff, underwear, things like that, socks, that's different. They do that very well. Okay. So those are my two big tips. Okay, takeaways. Make sure that your passport is valid and that you know where it is. It's amazing. There will be 3 people. I don't know which one of you will be those 3 people who will walk into the terminal without a passport. Okay? You've got to have that. If you're arriving in Fort Lauderdale on the day prior to embarkation, please know we still have. No, we don't. Do we have any rooms? Oh, we do. We still have some rooms available at the pre-cruise hotel, and we offer ground transportation from this location. This is unusual. Normally by now they're all gone. Complete the online check-in as soon as that service is activated, and by all means, complete as many purchases and reservations as you can before boarding the ship. I don't know why the ship makes it so difficult to actually do these things when you're on the ship, but you have to go to 5 or 6 different places to get things done, whereas you can just sit at home and knock it out. You know, you can cancel the things usually when you're on the ship without any charge. So I would load up on my reservations. We announced the performance schedule before the cruise. We will send that to you. Pre-planning your show schedule is important. You really want to look at it and circle those shows that you really want to see. You won't be able to see everything. There is too much, and some of the programming is overlapping, and that's on purpose because we have to take 2,000 people and we have to divide them up because not every venue holds 2,000 people. So you want to circle the items that you absolutely want to go to. Allow for extra time to reach the cruise terminal. We're on a Tuesday, so that's a regular day, and there will be traffic. So just make sure that you give yourself plenty of room. Um, cruise is casual. Please be comfortable. And this is something which is somewhat new given the new trend in clothing, but your your choice of clothing should reflect the fact that irons and steamers are not allowed on the ship. Okay? And so if you have something that requires pressing, you're going to have to go to the dry cleaners for that. You are better off wearing items that do not need to be ironed, do not need steamers. Okay? If you plan on dining with a particular group of guests, be sure to promptly submit your group dining information to us. That's important. Figure out what you want to do when you are in port. We're in Grand Cayman. We're in Cozumel, and those are two great places. And there's all kinds of information on the website and on the celebrity website as to what you should be doing. Try as hard as you can to leave your work, your obligation, and your worries at home. Be sure to pack your smile, your love of music, and most of all, your humanity. The Botti cruise last year was a terrific environment. People were so kind and so nice and so happy, and it was because of the quality of the entertainment and everything else. And I anticipate that being the case here. We joke a lot about various things, but we take that very, very seriously. Our goal is to make sure that you guys have the greatest vacations and that everybody is treated well and everything is inclusive and fair and everybody is respected, because that's how the music is. That's how jazz came to be, and we are going to continue that. I'll go to the next one. You're going to see something that no one else has seen. The 24 Botti cruise sold out. The 25 Botti cruise sold out. And Chris wanted to figure out do something special for the next one. So we're headed to the West Coast. And it is in September. So there's a bit of a lag between when this cruise is over and when the next one sails. And we'll be going out of Los Angeles. We're going to be overnighting in San Francisco. We're going to be in Victoria, and we're going to wind up in Vancouver. For anyone on this call who is familiar with Journey of Jazz 25, this is the same itinerary except backwards. We have found that this opportunity to use these ports of call has been very exciting for guests, because in San Francisco we have tours of Napa, Sonoma. We have chartered the Napa Valley wine train. We have shows at SF Jazz. We have culinary events in San Francisco. Michael Bauer, who's the former San Francisco Chronicle food editor, has been working with us, and we have a similar, though obviously not as robust, list of items for Victoria as well. And by overnighting in San Francisco and also Victoria, we are able to secure the services of some artists who we would not have otherwise been able to do. The lineup for this cruise has not been finalized and will not be finalized for a couple of months. If you are sailing on Chris Botti at Sea 2025, you have the exclusive right to rebook your current cabin for the 2026 sailing. when it goes on sale, which again will be in a few months. If you are not on 2025, you can immediately complete a pre-sale reservation, which puts you in the queue to select a stateroom once the 25 guests have elected to rebook or not. We're very excited about this. Chris is from Oregon, so it's like a homecoming for him. There is a strong LA element to everything that he does. San Francisco, if you haven't been to Victoria, it's probably one of the prettiest cities in the world, as is Vancouver. We are talking, however, to a Diamonds International to make sure that they open a franchise in either San Francisco or Victoria, because I don't think we've ever had a cruise without Diamonds International. That's a joke, by the way, for those who don't know. But we will be selling Tanzanite on the ship, no matter where we are. Okay, it's time for questions.
Absolutely.
What do we got?
First question: how often will Chris Botti perform?
Yeah, he's going to do 2 full shows each. No, so that's 4 because it's red, blue, and then a bunch of other smaller shows. I really haven't counted it, but it's a lot more than what he did last year. Okay.
Can you carry on your own luggage? And if you do so, do you need a luggage tag?
No,
it would need to.
Cannot.
It would need to fit through
Go
the
ahead,
scanner. Yeah, it would need to fit through the scanners in the terminal, which are pretty small. They're really built for more of like a standard carry-on type of luggage. So anything larger than that will need to be handed over to the porters at the terminal. If you did have a small bag like that and you are carrying it on yourself, you do not need a luggage tag.
Now, conversely, you can carry your luggage off, and that is expedited disembarkation, and they are the first people off the ship. If you are trying to make an early flight, you can often do that, provided that you are willing to carry your own luggage off of the ship. Next.
We discussed that wine can be brought on board. Are spirits allowed?
Nope. No.
No.
What is the latest arrival time at the pier that can be selected as a 30-minute time interval?
2:30 p.m.
Oh.
2:30 to 3 p.m. So everybody needs to be in the terminal by 2 p.m.
Is the ship staff gratuity included with my cruise fare?
Yes, it is. However, tipping is the international way to say thank you. So if somebody does do something special, we encourage that. But yes, all gratuities have been paid.
Are there standard U.S. electrical outlets?
Yes, the whole ship has them. Yes.
And then what is the procedure for guests that are joining us for back-to-back sailings as far as disembarkation and re-embarkation?
Back-to-back sailings, they call it being in transit. And that's what we do because we're on for 4 weeks. At the end of the cruise, you will go to usually the main dining room on a day of a disembarkation, which is the day of embarkation for the next cruise. And you'll wait there until the ship is fully disembarked. They call it zero count. Everybody's off the ship. And then we go through kind of a fantasy walk to go off the ship and go back on the ship. it is done somewhat differently almost every year. Sometimes you actually get off the ship. Sometimes you don't even get off the ship. You just kind of walk around a little bit. But we sit there and we wait, and you get your new room keys, because even if you're in the same stateroom, it is a different cruise identification card. And it's really simple. If you are moving from one stateroom to another, the ship helps you do that. You can also disembark, truly disembark, and then you can get back on the ship, but you have to go through the process that everybody else is going through to get on the ship. Some people like to spend the day in Fort Lauderdale, get off, go out to breakfast or lunch, or go shopping, whatever. Okay? So those are your options.
What does the performance schedule look like at a day at sea versus a day in port?
Day the mornings, the early mornings, they're identical. We'll have a coffee talk. We may have a film. We may have some other things going. And then if it's a port of call day, there really isn't very much going on until 3:00, 3:30, because the artists want to go ashore, and also that's part of the cruise. And then we usually start around 3:30 or 4, and then once you get to the main shows, the red and the blue, then it's identical regardless. On a day at sea, we have a full late morning and an afternoon of events. Some of them are outside, some of them are inside. We have concerts. It's just a full day. We may have more fun events because it is during the day, but there'll be plenty to do during that time.
Last question. Are all guests guaranteed a seat in the theater for a main performance?
Yes, they are. Every guest will have a seat in the main theater as long as everybody abides by the red and the blue, which they do.
And it looks like we have a few other questions that are a little bit more specific in nature that I will be answering via email at a later time.
Well, this has been fun. We love this cruise. We love our guests. We've been doing this for 25 years. This will be our second Botti at Sea cruise. He's a terrific host. He's everywhere. He loves doing this. You guys are in for a treat. It's one of the best lineups ever. I mean, it's when you look at it. I mean, Kamasi Washington, Diana Krall, Foster McPhee, Esperanza Spalding. I mean, it's Cool in the Gang. It is really, really fun. And so we look forward to having you on the ship. If you have any questions about anything, do not hesitate to contact us. You can always contact me directly. My email address is at the bottom of the hour take of the Weekender every single Saturday morning. And I'm happy to answer questions. So have a good day. We're going to have more of these, right?
Yes.
Aubrey, how many more of these do we have?
Definitely one, but possibly two.
Okay, got it. Okay, so we'll be talking to you. Thanks again, everybody. Bye.